Do me a favor, smash that subscribe button, like, share, comment, hit the bell button. I will see you guys next time. All right, what's up, guys? So every Wednesday, as you know or may know, if you did not watch that first episode, I made a first episode of just a baseball talk, and we talked about the state of baseball with one of my best friends last week. Go back and watch that video. Came out last Wednesday. You can also watch little snippet videos of it as well. We're going to continue this trend every single Wednesday. I'm going to try to provide you guys with guests, different guests from around the country, and that's exactly what we have today. So today's guest, and we're going to talk about a number of different things, baseball related and business related as well, is Coach Justin Sherman. Coach Justin Sherman is the owner of Just in Time Baseball. He resides in New Rochelle, New York, or most of his clientele is going to be within that area. But we're going to go into a lot of the different things that he's done in 2020 during all of this difficult time in order to not only grow his relationship with his players, but also grow business-wise within his company. So Coach Justin, thank you for coming on today. And why don't you start off by just introducing yourself and letting us know exactly what your business is?
So first of all, Coach Juan, thank you very much. And you talk about relationships. Isn't it amazing how a year ago we didn't even know each other? We've never met. We were on Instagram just following each other. I was following you, and I, basically reached out to you, and we're here a year later. We've met. We've done numerous clinics together, virtual clinics, etc. We talk a lot, at least once a week.
Yep.
It's just amazing, and I appreciate you having me on. This is awesome. You do a phenomenal job.
No, thank you very much.
So yeah, I really appreciate it. This is awesome. Anytime I can talk baseball and talk to great people like you, it's always great. So yeah, basically, you gave a great intro. Basically, I'm in the New Rochelle area, which is in New York, Westchester, New York. And basically, my whole bread and butter of what just-in-time baseball is working with youth development, parent coaches. Our company works with as early as 5 years old, kids that are 5 years old, and working on locomotor skills, the proper fundamentals, positivity. All of that encompasses what my mission statement is with Just-in-Time Baseball. So it started with just giving lessons in the neighborhood, and I'm repeating this story, but it's true. And 6 years later, I guess you could say, Just-in-Time Baseball LLC has been 2 years, but I've really been doing this for about 6, I guess you could say. Yeah. It really turned into like a Westchester County-based company, and now moving all over New York. And who knows how it's going to go from here on out. But basically, that's where I'm at. I'm looking to connect, grow, learn, continue to grow the brand all over, not just New York, but all over the country, but help as many young kids and parent coaches and any athlete to just mentor and teach fundamentals and be a positive force.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think the biggest thing that I got out of that was just a 6-year nugget that you threw in there. Not a lot, or many of us, and the majority of us, are not going to be fortunate enough to just turn something up on its head right away, and make it a career, especially entrepreneurship and trying to make a career out of something that isn't a W-2 worker. And this doesn't come by accident, right? It took me 7 years to get here. It took you 6 years to get there. Like, it takes a long, long time. Can you just expand on, you don't have to get too much into the nitty gritty, but the importance of just putting your head down and knowing that good things are going to happen so long as you continue what, most people will call the grind.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, and this is a tip, and I actually love talking about the entrepreneur part, because we're all entrepreneurs. Even if you don't quote unquote own an LLC or company, you're always learning and cultivating and growing and selling. You are a company. I say this to all my friends when I talk about a business, like, you are a company. So the way I look at it is, I always try to look at myself like I never quote unquote made it. I'm always trying. I always act as if, I'm starting out day one. Like, I'm not, like, if I'm the smartest person in the room, I want to get around different people.
There's a problem, right? There's a problem.
Not that there's anything wrong, like that someone's dumb or whatever. Like, I know that sounds kind of silly, but like,
For your
I
own
always,
personal self-development, it's a
right, be
problem.
thirsty, be thirsty. I'm trying, whenever I feel like I'm getting complacent, that's when I'm like, I got to change something. So it's almost good, like how I got to where I'm at, I guess you could say, in this nice little
Hmm.
spot for now, is just by having the mentality of what else? How else can I provide value? What else can I do? What else can I provide to my students? What do I not know? I know you and I were talking about Rapsodo. I should know more about that.
Hmm.
Even though my students are more of the younger side, and I'm sure that's you and I, we're going to talk about that, but, you know, learning, not being complacent, and reading a ton. You see the books behind me. I try to read a book a week,
Yeah.
on leadership, how to be a great leader, how to motivate individuals, what makes a good manager, as I'm now scaling my company to have other instructors with me. So little
Cool.
things like that, just staying hungry. That's how I kind of got to where I'm at right now. And, for me, I'm always trying to fill the gap. There's always, I get here, how do I fill that gap? How do I raise the gap?
Yeah, there's always a stepping stone to just get on. So I totally, completely understand that. Speaking of books, what's the most recent book, I guess?
It's a great question. I just got this bad boy. I just read a page or two. I've heard great things. This is the CEO of the Walt Disney Company, The Ride of a Lifetime.
Oh,
Uh,
that's my biggest position in the stock market is Disney.
there you go. I mean,
uh,
this is basically his like journey and leadership lessons, business lessons, management lessons. So again, I think another secret, and again, I don't know if I'm getting off topic here. You're in a good
oh,
flow,
you're good.
but business and sports have so many ties together. So like
Hmm.
me learning about him, uh, the CEO of Walt Disney, will help me as a coach, just like I'm sure you do the same thing. Like, and vice versa. Like you'll listen to CEOs, they listen to guys like Bill Belichick, they listen to Terry Francona, picking their brains. So
Right.
just having that thirst, no matter what industry it is, I think it's important. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm trying to get into.
That's really cool. Yeah, I know you're a big reader just by following you on Instagram. If anybody doesn't follow Coach Justin on Instagram, just go to his Instagram. I believe it's just at Justin Time Baseball. Is that correct?
Just in time baseball. Yep.
All right, it will flash right underneath here. So go to the handle down bottom, go give him a follow. You'll get a bunch of great stuff. Back to kind of who you cater to at the moment, it's really youth players. And you brought up that you're not really too knowledgeable with the Rapsodo, right? How would you like to transition the players you have now into still being with you as they get older?
So the way it's funny you say that, because I just had this conversation with one of my mentors, and I don't know if you know the name Brandon Steiner. Do you know Steiner Sports? Remember that name?
They do memorabilia,
Yeah.
if
So
I'm
he's
correct, right?
actually one. I'm a friend of his now. I
Very
mean, I
cool.
guess I don't mean to say it like a boat
No,
bragging
yeah,
rights away.
that's whatever.
But we were just talking about every now and then I used to play baseball against his son, and we were talking about how, like, who am I as just in time baseball? And it's a great question that you asked. And the way I look at it is, if I, in my position, like Gary Vaynerchuk says, like, be great at whatever you're good at, do it.
Right.
My focus is to get like a funnel. You know how there's a freshman coach, there's a JV coach, there's a varsity coach.
Yep.
My funnel, I guess you can equate it to a high school program. My funnel is getting from the young players to understand the fundamentals, to get the confidence, to understand the mechanics, the basics, having the empathy to work with that age group, and then send them on to a guy like you. I think I'm doing my job as in my company. I think if
Cool.
we get those players to that level from ages 5 to 12 and just go hard on that, I did my job. And if I
I
can be
think
the
that's good
best in the world
business.
at that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think that's great business. Just organizations like us, we definitely cater more to the older side. We really specialize in getting kids to playing college baseball. So we really don't get to see a ton of players until they're about 15, 16 years old. So if there was, a just-in-time baseball in our area, we would almost be perfect business partners, right? Where if we do for some reason get an 8, 9, 10-year-old that does a lesson with us, we can just recommend, hey, just go to Justin for this 4-year period and then transition. So it's almost, you said funneling, that's
Exactly.
a perfect word. But, I totally understand what you're saying. Kind of going back, like if you were up here, we would be Anthony Baseball and Just in Time Baseball would mesh incredibly well together, and it would be a great partnership that we would have. Hopefully you get to, as you grow and as you get bigger, you end up getting the connections to do something along those lines, because I think that's a tremendous idea for not only you, but whatever other baseball business you actually get in cahoots with to do it with. So that's a great point, that you just understand what you're great at. And I've told you this before, and this isn't me just kissing his ass, guys. Like, Justin is one of the best youth coaches I've ever seen. He does stuff that there's no chance that I can do. I cannot pull it off, more because of maybe patience and the way I speak. It just doesn't translate to a 6, 7, 8, 9 year old, where Justin has this kind of knack of really getting to the kid and really having him understand the importance of everything, being a good human being, teamwork, baseball, the fundamental of fielding, hitting, whatever the case may be. I think you do an absolutely tremendous job of doing so. So just to get on that track a little bit,
Appreciate it.
what kind of services are you providing to your clientele or anybody who wants any type of baseball, if it's either local or nationwide?
So first off, thank you for that very kind compliment. That was very kind of you. So there's a menu of options. So I think like what we just talked about, I used to have a bigger menu, but I almost now rather focus on 3 or 4 things
and be really good at it.
Right. And that may change maybe in another year or two. I don't know. I mean, I think business plans are overrated, by the way. I think it's important to have a plan, but you also want to adapt to the market.
I agree.
So the way I look at it is, as of right now, today, in these crazy times that we're in right now, but exciting and at the same time. Currently, what we're doing is we're doing coaching clinics. So, basically it's almost like a seminar business within my company. So I'll go into a league and literally teach the parents how to coach their kids.
That's interesting.
Last year in Westchester County, I did 7 different leagues. They brought me in, and I work with their T-ball group how to run a T-ball practice. Seriously.
That's not, well, there's a demand for that.
It's crazy.
And it's not really met, and you're meeting it.
Right. So, bottom line is that is a whole nother avenue. Now, again, obviously, as of right now, we can't really get together in groups of 55 and do a coaches clinic. So yes, the natural answer is virtual as well. But as far as like that, group clinics, running team practices, nothing out of the ordinary there. But I mean, the virtual has changed the game. The virtual changed the game, and I know you could speak to that. You've done you giving me that flattering compliment. I give the same back to you. I mean, what you did with so I remember when you kind of got rolling. I mean, you like quadrupled times 10. It's unbelievable virtually. So the virtual coaching clinics, running team practices. I'm actually in the verge of possibly starting some exciting things this fall. I may do a developmental program where it's like almost like not daddy ball, but a professional daddy ball program, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah, like I mean, the
for
kids,
coaches, for little league coaches,
right? It would be ages 4 to 6 years old, and it would just be a developmental program. So, my job is to understand, to teach the kids, to students, to understand the game. To be a part of a team. They scrimmage. We teach them, why do you go to first base? What's the situation? Why do we catch the ball like an alligator? Why do we high five this guy when we go to catch a fly ball? Things like that, fundamentals that they might not even realize that they're learning, but something like that might be in the works depending on this whole pandemic situation.
Right, it's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, there's more.
I feel like this whole situation changes from day to day. Like I'm still incredibly confused what the fall and winter are going to look like.
No one knows.
Slightly petrified,
No one knows.
slightly petrified. Yeah, no one knows. Hopefully, it's fine. It's good, and we're able to do things during that
Yeah.
time. But we're a little scared. Not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, I think it's important talking about a business sense because I think you and I can have a whole business talk. But,
Mm-hmm.
something that this experience has taught me, I don't know if this was one of your questions I'm answering going back to, but I don't know if I'm jumping ahead here. But you got to be adaptable. And even as a coach on the baseball field, you have to know how to change things on the fly. Oh, a kid gets hurt. Oh, your starting
Yep.
pitcher who's your ace got hurt. What do you do? Same thing in business. I mean, like, who would have thought when you and I had a beautiful dinner in January, we were, life this wasn't even a thought.
Isn't it
And now
crazy?
it's completely different.
That was only 6 weeks.
Right.
We were only because it was late January. We were only 6 weeks away from it hitting the fan.
Right. Right. And you came down to do a great clinic. We sold it out. We packed it. I literally sold that clinic out, by the way, by you coming down in like 2 days.
Oh, that was fun. That was a really, really good time.
And everyone
I actually
that
enjoyed
asked me, everyone that attended said, when is Coach Juan coming back? So it's going to be an annual thing where you come down and, obviously I think maybe you can come down for 2 days next time and maybe we do like this was just the appetizer.
No, yeah, I totally agree. I really, really enjoyed that time. I think, and now you have thoughts in my head that I wasn't planning on talking about, but let's talk about this real quick. The biggest thing that I was impressed with, and I said it at the time and I say it later, I've said it, we've done virtual clinics, I guess is what we're going to call it. We've done virtual clinics together with pitching. I really think the most impressive thing about the kids that represent you are how attentive they are, how well mannered they are, and how they have this want to about them. They want to learn. So there's a number of different things that come into play there. One, the parents must be outstanding to raise children to conduct themselves in that manner. But two, the next step is now coaching. The fact that they respect you enough to respect me, because they don't know who I am. So the layers that you are providing, like, hey, if this guy's coming in from Massachusetts and Coach Justin said he's legit, we're going to listen. Like, that's a respect for not only me, but that's more respect on your end. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
you know
I appreciate that. I mean, I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, basically, I'm impressed. I am equally as impressed as what you're saying. And it
now,
also
is there
is a testament to what you bring, too.
Yeah. Is there anything that you believe like within your belief system, is there anything that you try to instill in them to have a conduct like that while being coached?
It's a great question. I think about that every time. Like, and I know you do too, without even asking, like, what did I do that as a coach? Like, what did I do that really was good today? We're so quick to criticize, but why don't we also pat ourselves on the back and be like, damn, that worked. Yeah. So I always think, it's funny you ask that. I ask myself that a lot. I'm like, what do I bring that? Not to say, look, I'm always learning. I'm not, there's always someone that knows more or whatever or has whatever. But I would say something that I'm starting to realize is you really need to treat them not like they're babies.
I agree. I 100% agree.
Not yelling, okay? Something, I don't know if you notice in our time together, I very rarely yell. Ever.
Yeah, and I'm the same exact way.
Like
you can't.
Yeah, I just put up something on my Instagram, like, you get more with sugar than you do with vinegar. So there's no reason, as long as you have your ground rules, and again, it's all in their best interest. So as long as you establish, here's your goal, I want you to reach this goal because I care. If I ever get mad at someone, not mad, that's not the right word. If I ever get like disappointed or upset, which I'm really not, I may perceive that because we're all salesmen selling to our students because we're trying to get them to buy in. But it's really for their best interest. It's all in their best. Everything comes back to their best interest, the team's best interest, the program's best interest. Yep. So I think there's no word to say it, but I think it's just treating them like people.
I
like
agree.
and having empathy. I think that's very important. Like
That's very important. And
if a
there's a
kid
lot of
doesn't
lack
get,
of that. I think
yeah, but
there's too many hard-nosed, I guess, people out there who expect players to react positively to anger. And it's like
right.
the human mind isn't conditioned to react positively to anger. I don't care if you're an athlete or you're in business, or you know what I mean, if you're on Wall Street. Like we're not conditioned to react that way. So I totally agree with you.
I think it's, and again, the piggyback on that, like a student doesn't want to make an error. I mean, like it's just
Yeah.
if you're understand, and also I'll tell you another thing, coach, that's very important. I also think something that has helped me thus far, is like if something's not working, it's not their fault, and it's your fault. Meaning, as a
Yeah.
coach, you have to understand. Wait, they don't have to make a change. Maybe it's the way you're explaining it. Like, look to yourself first. Don't look to blame a student. Oh, this kid's not good. Yeah, but maybe there's a different way you can deliver your message. Maybe you're speaking, in a tone where it's not understandable. So
Yeah.
self-assessment and empathy and treating them like a regular person.
You know, I 100% believe in what you're saying right now. One of the biggest things that I do to my 11U team is that I treat them like my 16U team.
Right.
And I would rather have that as the baseline and me have to adjust whether up or down from that baseline, because I think we really underestimate how smart kids are in today's world. They
Totally.
are exposed to so much technology, which exposes them to so much knowledge, that they are just so much smarter than even 20 years ago when we were growing up.
It's a
You
great
know, I
point.
think we underestimate that
It's a
as
great point.
people. Yeah.
That's a great point.
Um, so kind of last question before we have some Instagram questions, which we're going
I love
to
it.
touch on as well. But prior to the Instagram questions, we've talked about business, we've talked about baseball. Let's go back to business real quick for this final question, and just the need to reinvest. And I use the word need versus want, because it's hard to want to reinvest because you see X amount of dollars and you're like, I want to keep that X amount of dollars. But sometimes that X amount of dollars multiplies itself exponentially over time if you reinvest it. What is your thought on reinvesting? And maybe give us an example of it could literally be exactly what you're like. I buy books, or I bought this device, or cone. I don't care if you buy cones. Buying cones is reinvesting in your program,
Totally.
even if it's $10,
Totally.
right? So can you give us your thoughts on reinvesting? And then on top of that, can you give us one example that you've had lately that you reinvested in maybe yourself or your company?
So it's such a great, I love these questions. Okay. Cause we're talking, and I would love to give a title to this talk, business and baseball talk. I think it'd be sick.
Well, we're going to have a 40-minute video, plus it's going to be divided into different subject matters where the people are going to be able to watch, I don't know, a 5-minute clip of this. Maybe this is one of the 5-minute clips, and this is exactly what the title
I
is going
love
to
it.
be.
I love
So
it.
continue. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. So the way I look at it, I don't look at a spreadsheet. Maybe I should. I don't look at an ROI. Here's what I look at. I buy masks, right, for my company.
Mm-hmm.
I will lose money on the masks. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hold it. I will 1000% lose money by definition on these masks. Okay? Now, am I actually going to lose money long game? Because that's the key word. No.
Right.
I'm going to make 10x it. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the mask. Either they're going to buy it or I just give them away like candy. And then some of the proceeds are going to go to first responders in Westchester County. So
Very cool.
reinvesting, the answer to your question is my ROI, I rather spend $1 than not spend $1. Whereas the reverse. I rather spend $1 and lose $1 and it go in the garbage than it does nothing. Meaning, I never think investing in marketing, investing in equipment, it's never a bad investment. Even though something like, let's just say, a bucket, right? That's a depreciating asset. which if you want to call it that, but it's
Yeah.
really not.
No,
Because
that's a really good that's a really good object for baseball coaches to look at, and this is a really
right.
good example. So continue because I love where this is going.
No, I mean, bottom line is like I always look at it as I look at everything. Sorry,
No, you're good.
I look at everything like it's an ROI. Everything has an ROI. The only negative reinvestment is not reinvesting. So I don't know if
Yeah,
that's your question. There's so many layers to it. Like put an ad up on Instagram, put a quote up on Instagram, throw $5. Even if one person sees it or no one sees it, it's better than not spending that dollar. So
I totally agree.
that's my marketing. That's because everything is comes back to that in a business. I mean,
Yeah, your
everyone that
mindset
says
towards all
doesn't,
this.
yeah. So my whole mindset is spend this, and again, it's not spending to get, right? If you just give to give, if you just give to get, you're gonna lose. But if you're giving and expecting nothing in return, that's better. But
Yeah,
in your mind, you know, as a core principle, that is the way to go. And usually, not usually, most of the time, 100% of the time, the right thing is the right thing in business. It translates to each other.
oh, that's beautiful. That's a great mindset to have. I totally 100% agree with all of that. So, I mean, thanks for your answers altogether. Let's go into some Instagram questions. So, I posted on Instagram on my story. If anybody doesn't
Love
follow
it.
me on Instagram but follows me and subscribes to me on YouTube, go to my Instagram. You'll see that handle down below. You can throw me DMs whenever you feel like. I would like to think I do a pretty good job responding to everybody within a 48-hour period if you ever have any additional questions. But I threw on Instagram on my story, what questions can I ask Justin? And this is what we got. So we're just going to choose
Love
three
it.
and go right after it. So the very first one is, as a coach, do you prefer to coach fielding or hitting, and why?
Uh, Hitting. I mean, as a ball player, I was not a great fielder. I'm just
Okay.
coming out and saying it. I was
Yeah.
not that great. I was a borderline DH in college. Which is I used to be proud of, but now as I'm getting older, I'm like, you want to have more than just that. So yeah, I feel more comfortable teaching hitting because I was better at it. I was just better at it. Now I
No, that's
am
a good answer.
looking to expand my knowledge base on feeling because I mean I've seen some. You even see them on Instagram. Like some of these infield coaches are unbelievable. Like
They're
they're
unreal.
like phenomenal.
Dude,
But
uh,
yeah,
I'm going to use Matt Antonelli.
oh,
Everybody
he's
looks at
phenomenal.
him as a hitting guy, hitting guy, hitting guy, hitting guy, hitting guy. You should see him coach fielding. It's mind boggling.
I've seen it. It's phenomenal.
He he sees things in real time that I've never seen anybody else see in real time. It just blows my mind. But he accounts it to he was coached better as a fielder. So kind of goes back to your answer where you probably just were coached better as a hitter. You reacted well as hitting, so you like hitting. Next question that we got here is, I guess to keep going on the hitting side of things, is do you use the tee as a warm up, and what do you prefer to do on the tee to start off with? So maybe a drill or a feel or anything kind of open ended, pretty broad. But go ahead.
I think the easiest warm up is that the question. Sorry, it's like a warm up tee drill.
Yeah. So two things: do you use the tee as the warm up,
Sure.
and what would the very first thing you do be on the tee?
So my go-to, let's just say I've done a couple lessons with a student. My go-to is to widen out their feet and just go upper body only.
Upper half, yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen
so
that.
just literally, I don't care where the ball goes. Just get your hands. I mean, ideally, obviously, as a lefty, you're going center, left center, or righty,
Right.
right center. But I want to go staying inside the ball and just focus on your hands and go at about 50%. I go with like, as young as 6
Mm-hmm.
to
No, that's
12.
fine.
I do that drill because I think it's important to understand what your hands are doing to start. So I'm a big fan of just wide base isolation drills. I know you are a fan of those too, but like
Yeah.
restriction and isolation drills.
Yeah, it creates good barrel awareness
Correct.
and understanding of where the barrel's moving
Yep.
without incorporating the legs yet.
100%.
Yeah.
That would be
So I
my
like that. That's awesome. Last question is, we have a shortened MLB season. It's 60 games. And this question reads, do you have a dark horse in this year's 2020 season?
I do.
Let's hear it.
I have two answers. You're going to love them. I think that this year, hopefully, God willing, safely, everyone plays this year. I think the Tampa Bay Rays are going to win.
Wait, win the whole thing?
They're going to win everything because I think they have the pitching. I think they're the most underrated team in baseball.
I agree with that one. Okay.
But a dark horse here, I think could really be possibly Miami.
We might need an explanation here. To start off with, I could not name more than 2 players on the Miami Marlins, and I might be exaggerating. I might not be able to name 1 player on the Miami Marlins. So we might need a little something to expand on this Miami Marlins take.
Think about it. If they just get to the dance, they could. And I'm repeating myself. I think the dark horse and the real sleeper here, Miami Marlins. They have some great arms that they'll
They do have good arms. I can't remember the name. They have this Latin guy, like right-hander at the top of their rotation that throws fuego.
Yeah, I mean they have like 2-3 guys that throw over 100. So I mean, you never know. And again, I saw a great stat by them. They've won 2 World Series. They have never won their division.
Isn't that wild?
They've never won their division.
I think it's wild that they even won World Series. You want to expand on this even further? They've only made the playoffs twice in their history.
That's unbelievable.
And they have 2 World Series. So this is easy math. They make the playoffs, they win it all. So that's basically what you're going off of.
Correct.
The playoffs, you're going to win it all. I'm gonna touch this. You know which one's mine? I've been saying this for a little bit now. My dark horse that nobody is talking about, and in a 60-game season, I think this is incredibly realistic, are the Cincinnati Reds. At the top of their rotation, they're going to go Trevor Bauer, Luis Castillo, and Sonny Gray. Those are 3 guys that are going to get 12 starts? They're going to get 12 starts. All 3 of them can go 8-3. Like their team going 8-3 within their starts.
Yes.
That's already 24 wins.
Yep.
Right there, without having the other 2 guys. They also have guys, they have Amir Garrett, they have Iglesias as a closer, and they have Michael Lorenzen. So those are 6 primetime arms, and that might be enough to pitch your way into the postseason in a 60-game season. On top of that, they're going to throw Aristides Aquino in the middle of their lineup for the first time. And I really think that they are a true contender to win, not just make the playoffs, but win the World Series. Guys go on hot streaks all the time, and they have 3 guys that are and I'm talking pitchers. They have 3 guys who are totally capable of going on a 10-game hot streak. Totally feasible.
I think Bauer, and this could be a whole nother conversation. I think Bauer. I know you love Bauer, and I love
Trevor Bauer.
I like him. I think he talks a lot. I think he's got to put up this year because he talks a lot.
I agree.
For putting up a 4.9 ERA.
So here's the thing
my opinion. He's a stud. He's a major leaguer. He'll be better than I'll ever be in my lifetime.
Oh, of course.
This is a big year for Bauer.
I agree. He does talk a lot. I follow him on YouTube. He does talk a lot. I would say I love 80% of Bauer. The other 20% does come off pretty ridiculous. So I understand why people weigh that 20% a lot higher than the good things that he says. But right. I'm totally with you. But yeah, I'm going to be a Cincinnati Reds guy this year. I really think in a shortened season, they're at a huge advantage with the arms that they have.
And Votto, my favorite hitter.
Yeah. And it's a shame that Syndergaard's hurt, because if you go into a short season with Syndergaard and DeGrom to start off your rotation, that's another team that could be, hitting the ground running real quick.
I would not be surprised if they made the World Series. even
And
now.
freaking, well, Syndergaard, they would, in theory, in a 60-game season, same exact type of idea I have with the Reds. Syndergaard, Stroman, DeGrom. I mean, right?
You can't go. It's all pitching. Pitching wins. Period. Pitching wins.
Right?
It
Isn't
all
that,
comes down, as you know, you're the pitching guy. I call you the professor. It's pitching, man.
no,
Pitching.
it's nuts. I am excited that we get some baseball at least. But ultimately, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for answering the questions. This nice little Q&A covered a bunch of different things, from baseball to investing to business in general, and mindset, which might be the most important thing, is mindset when you ever go into anything in life. So I truly appreciate your time. I truly appreciate everything that you did within this interview. I hope people got some value out of this. Do you have any final words for the people?
All I could say is thank you so much. And you do an awesome job. You keep the game fun, interesting. I jokingly constantly call you the professor because you are the professor, because you're so knowledgeable. Anytime I have a pitching question, I go to you. I know a lot of pitching people. I go to you over anybody. Keep up the great work. I've seen where you've come from to where you are now, and you've really done a hell of a job. So, I know we'll continue this great relationship we have. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I thank you very much for those kind words. This guy's may have seemed like a 40-minute ass kissing session, but it wasn't. I swear. We actually mean these words.
Totally.
Last thing, I know I already said last thing, but last thing, any plugs? I know you have the Instagram, but anywhere else people can follow you. Not everybody's on Instagram. Where else can we see your stuff?
So yeah, you can actually go to YouTube now. I'm now starting to build. I'm starting to learn from you now on how
Okay, cool.
quadrupled your YouTube. But yeah, Coach Justin Time on YouTube, or just type in Justin Sherman Baseball. Either one will pop up. Instagram, Facebook, Coach Justin Sherman, Twitter.
Cool. So long as we type in Justin Time Baseball on any platform, it should pop up.
It should pop right up. And yeah, Twitter has been a big thing I've been getting on now. A lot of great hitters and youth development, mentors, leaders, coaches, teachers are on there. So I've been interacting with them. Just trying to help as many kids and parents as possible. Just
absolutely
get involved. That's what it's all about. That's what life's about.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much, Justin. Again, go follow Justin on any type of platform that you prefer, whatever your preference is. He's going to be on it. So go check him out. Just in Time Baseball is going to be the handle on the majority of these platforms. So go check that out. As always, if this brought you any type of value to your life, whether it's baseball, business, investing, anything whatsoever, please do me a favor, smash that subscribe button down bottom, hit the bell button, like, share, and comment, and we'll see everybody later.